there be some rust? Will there be some...
I may be a little rusty, man. I haven't had any live action, since the first preseason game. I say one of the challenges, I say to me, is just getting back into football shape. Getting back in the swing of things. I mean, I've been, in the playbook, but I haven't actually, physically been out there with the guys. So I say this week that's been pretty big for me. And like I said, as far as the game, maybe a little rust, but as I expected. 8 weeks being out. So, yeah.
Denzel, I think your rookie year, you had a big game in Jacksonville. I'm not sure if that was your first start or not.
Nah, Green Bay was actually my first start.
But you remember that game in Jacksonville? You had a few tackles for loss and whatnot.
Yeah, I think I had a game ball that game.
Yeah. Just, I guess, is it kind of not ironic, but you come back in that game and that was kind of your coming out party? I remember about. What do you remember about that experience, and how different is that now considering your?
As far as experience go, I mean, just remember me being back in Florida. The heat and everything like that. You play in front of family, and I got some family coming up for that game. And, it is ironic that I am coming back for that game, and that they're the number one rushing team, in the league right now. So, like I said, it's going to be a challenge.
How many family? Which family?
I don't know yet. Probably about 15, 20.
You mentioned the rushing game. What do they do so well?
They run the ball. They got, 3 backs that actually, do a great job. They have their own little unique style of running the ball. But they're all powerful backs. Like I said, they're the number one team, in the rushing right now. So it's going to be a heavyweight fight is what I like to call it.
You've watched this defense over the past few weeks. It's done a better job against some power backs, guys like Marshawn and stuff like that. What have they been? What have the Chargers been doing better to stop the run these last few weeks?
I say, man, it's just a lot of run games that made us. I wouldn't say made us, but put us where we at right now. It's just a lot of missed tackles. A lot of guys never fitted up, but we just couldn't wrap the guys up.
How do you? Everyone's been looking forward to you coming back. So how do you deal with that pressure, so to say, of Denzel's back finally, expectations?
I kind of block it out, man, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm just, like I said, trying to focus on getting back into football shape, trying to knock some rust off that I've been having, and just get back in the flow of things. I really don't pay attention to it.
Are you comfortable playing on a weak side with Hayes in the middle? Is that something that you're good with? Is that an adjustment for you?
I can probably say my first 2 years, it's a new system, period. So I can kind of say I played weak side, my rookie year and a little bit of last year. So it's not, much of a big adjustment.
What's the difference for you, Denzel, in playing weak side? Does it just kind of free you up a little bit to just go find the football?
Yeah, I'm actually freed up a little bit. I don't have to take on as many guards as I did at the mic, but I'm just, doing what they asked me to do.
Playing against a back like Fournette, what do you have to do to be successful against a guy like that?
You got to wrap up and bring your feet. He going to bring his A game, so, everybody on defense got to make sure they bring their A game.
You look forward to it, challenge guys
of course.
Playing like that?
Of course.
You mentioned the missed tackles. Is that sort of what your specialty is in terms of tackling and hitting, and is that what you can bring to this team at this point?
I'm not saying I'm the, for sure tackle. I'll probably average 3 to 4 missed tackles a game myself. So, it's just something, that we just practice all week, and like I said, we just got to wrap up.
What was the worst part of these last 9 weeks for you? How do you kind of keep yourself occupied? Were there things that you started doing that you didn't realize you were,
The most frustrating, I'll say, just sitting at home watching, like physically, nothing I could do about it. But mentally, I had my kids, my family at home. So I just... No. That's why, I got, everything away from me, man. My kids, I just love them to death. And my daughter, she always, even to this day, she tells me, Daddy, be careful with your leg, be careful with your leg. I'm like, okay. But she's only 3, so.
What the heck happened on the injury? Did you go back and look at it?
Yeah, it was non-contact, man. Yeah. That sucks.
Did you plant wrong?
I don't even know what I did, man. I just stepped one way and felt the pop. And, I got myself off the field, which is a good thing. But, yeah, it was after the fact.
I asked you this yesterday, but you've had a lot of, as a team, success against Jacksonville in the past. How do you guard against being complacent going in this matchup?
Yeah, like I said, it's a new team, new year, new everything. Even with us, it's a new defense, new coaching staff. Probably the same thing with them. New players, new faces. It's all just new. Like I said, we're going to treat it like any other opponent. History is the history.
Do you guys get a little extra juice knowing that Gus used to be there and wanting to get it for him?
He probably got a lot of juice. I ain't going to say he probably does. I know he does. He's in the meeting rooms, on the field and everything, but I'm pretty sure, he want to go out there and get a W.
When they drafted you, I think the term they used was hammer player. How would you define that, and how do you sort of try to live up to that?
I won't say I live up to it, man. Like I said, I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I would say, I got that name probably from, my explosiveness, the way I hit, the way I play. And I feel like that's never going to change.
Is this the most excited you've been for a game in a while?
Yeah, I mean, it's my first game back, so I'm really excited. I mean, I feel like this is my season opener, to be honest with you. Like, that's how I feel going into this game. So, yeah, no, I'm going to be really excited. Just, like I said, get back in the flow of things, just be in that atmosphere again.
Thanks, Denzel. Appreciate
Cool.
it.
I wanted to ask you about the turnover change.
Just watching some of the success that they've had, their ability to run the ball really stands out. The ability with the 3 backs, 4 backs really, that are playing at a high level. I think the offensive line is playing at a high level. And the quarterback, Blake, is doing a nice job. I think they really understand how they want the offense to look. And, they're doing a good job with their whole scheme.
What can you realistically expect from Denzel this week, and how tough is it to play your season opener in week 9?
I know. It is tough for us as coaches because there's so many things that go into it. He hasn't played football for a while. So how's his conditioning? To come out. You saw us as a team. You struggle tackling right away. And then the more reps you get and the more you play, sometimes those things get cleaned up. So how will he jump in and, the ability to perform those things that are asked of him. So I think we're still figuring that out as the week goes on to see. We're limiting some of his reps in practice and just kind of seeing how he's handling it. And hopefully every day, we get a clear picture on what his role will be.
Once he shakes that rust, what can you add to this defense?
Well, he's very instinctive. He's probably our most explosive linebacker as far as his ability, to hit and tackle. He's got very good instincts in the pass game. So just, I think for us, you can tell when he came into the huddle, the players lit up. He's got that presence about him when he's in front of them.
I think 2 years ago he had his big game against you guys in Jacksonville. Do you remember that, his performance? And what's that to you about Denzel over the years?
Well, you know what? I think that was intriguing when I came out to the Chargers, and he was here. Just his ability. I had a chance to interview him at the Combine and visit with them, and you could just see how important football was to him. And that showed up on the field. Aggressive, plays with a lot of energy, rarely makes mistakes, just is always in the right place. So, there's a lot of things that we anticipated seeing, we saw.
What's the week been like for you in terms of preparation when you're watching that team that you used to coach?
Right. It is different now. It is because you know these guys. But, a lot of things they're doing offensively are different. They've taken on a different personality with Nathaniel Hackett than even last year when he was the coordinator. I think they're trying to find out, when you look at them, who are they? And I think you're seeing more of an identity come up. But then watching the players execute, I always felt strongly the players, had ability and could make plays. And it was just putting it all together. So, it is a little bit different, though. You know them so well. You're not looking at your sheet and reading up a little bit on guys. You already kind of have an idea of, where they're from and how they develop.
What do you see from Blake Bortles that's been different from years past?
You know what? I think their philosophy is, they're still taking some shots with him, but it's passes that are very manageable passes. You see some screens, some movement passes, things that he does really well, the boots, and they'll take shots. And so I think he's playing at another level. I know some teams are looking at him and say, you know what, obviously you got to stop the run, force him to pass. Well, he's been productive the last couple of games passing the ball too, and the receivers have been productive. So, you're seeing their numbers. They're, right up there as far as the league, number one, the rush, and I think 10th overall. So, I think in order to do that balance that they have, it keeps you off guard from just loading up the front.
Gus, is this kind of like, I don't know the best way to describe this, is this kind of like a breakup where you don't want to see them like that happy without you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you really wish you'd be better off if they, like, their life was kind of out of control. Or something like that.
You know what? You talk about what's the emotion, and I'm not like that. I think for me, it's hard. I told you this last week that you work with people and you care about them, and then to automatically shut that off, that feels disingenuous. So you do care about them, and for a guy like Puz, who's been there for years and been up in Buffalo and hasn't had a lot of success as far as being on a team, and if you knew him, you'd say, well, how can't you be happy for him? And there's multiple guys like that. So, but you're right. I mean, when you go in there on Sunday, you have a mindset of, it's about our team and what we have to do. And I said against New England, we needed that challenge defensively. Well, we need this challenge as well. We need this challenge to go against a team that's playing at a high level and for us to take the next step that we want to get. So you keep it more in those terms, I think, than personalize it.
I think Eric mentioned this earlier to Anthony, but they're really good in their running game at kind of avoiding contact. Like teams have a hard time getting to them early in the running game. What do they do so well?
Well, I think their offensive line is doing a really good job. I'm impressed with their pad level. They got really good pad level, and they're knocking people off the ball. And so by the time you make your first contact with them, it's a couple of yards. And they're averaging almost 5 yards a carry, some of the backs are. So, by the time they get there, but I see it where they're good in open space. They make people miss, but they'll also try to run you over. So, I think for us is having a tackling plan. And, Chris Ivory and Fournette, they have similar styles. Although they're different, they're still that big, more physical type back. But, Fournette has the ability to make you miss.
Do you wish you had a chance to finish out last season there? Just seeing the whole season through.
Well, yeah, I think whenever you start something, you want to finish it. That's always been my philosophy. So, yeah, I mean, that part of it, you want to see the whole thing through.
How important with the big backs like Fournette and Ivory to make those guys' feet stop a little bit and maybe get them moving?
Right. Well, and but they like to get downhill. They have some wider stretch plays, but for the most part, they like to get downhill, and so you try to get them to go east and west. But again, in loading up the box, you try to do that to try to slow it down. But teams have done that, and they're still getting their yards. So I think it's ideally you get them going east and west, but you see some of their runs. That's how they designed them, to go more east and west and try to hit seams. So, I think there's a wide variety of styles of runs. We just got to be on it. It's going to come back to us being on our fits and getting off blocks and tackling. And it's going to be a mentality. I mean, they could run the ball 35, 40 times this game. And that in itself is a certain type of mentality. Okay, all right, thank you.
You're a better guy than I am.